Hi everyone, it's Laura here and I hope you like this new style of video where I show my face. I thought it was a nice way for me to connect a little bit more with you guys. And in today's video I'm going to share with you how to create a super easy light up card. I have a couple of tips and tricks for you, and this card and this video are part of a hop with giveaways. I'll tell you more during the tutorial, so let's get started. Let's have a quick look at the products that I'll be using today. For the light up part of the card, I'm going to use the EZ-Lights. These are by Pear Blossom Press, which is also the sponsor of today's hop. Everything is already assembled for you. You have your little circuits with the LED lights already wired in and push buttons to turn your lights on and off. And the batteries are also included, so really you just have to get crafting. I decided to go for a space-themed card, so I used the You're Weird stamp set by Hefty Doodle. This set is absolutely adorable and it's perfect to create light-up cards, and we'll see how later. I also used the coordinating dies to die cut out all the images, and then I used the Interactively Yours stamp set by Hefty Doodle. This has a lot of tiny sentiments that you can use to emphasize the interactive parts of your cards. There is like Push Me, which I used today, Shake Me, tons of fun sentiments that you can use on your interactive cards. I used the Imperial stitched rectangle dies, also by Hefty Doodle, and then I decided to also add the planets from the Spaced Out stamp set, again by Hefty Doodle. I used the coordinating dies, and now I'm going to show you a super easy way to create a galaxy background. I started from some watercolor cardstock. This is by Spectrum Noir and I like it because it holds up well enough to water and it's bright white. And I die cut it with the second largest die in the Imperial stitched rectangle dies. This is going to be the base for my galaxy background, and in order to create it really quickly and for it to have a lot of shimmer and texture, I am using Nuvo shimmer powders today. In case you're new to this product, these are some water-reactive powders which react beautifully with water. I'm going to spritz my background with some clean water from a distress sprayer, and you can see the gorgeous effect they create. They bloom out and add a lot of texture to your panels, and these powders here have mica powders in them, so they will also add a lot of shimmer. I used different colors to create some variation on my background, and I have the names of the powders that I used on screen and listed in the description box down below, where you will find a list of all the products that I used today. I sped up the drying of the first layer and then I added a second one to create even more texture. And I know that this doesn't look great right now, but I promise you with just 2 extra steps we're going to turn this panel into a gorgeous galaxy background. The first one is to darken it up a little bit more to turn it into a night sky type of panel, and for that reason I'm using Distress inks. I started by adding black soot to the edges of the panel, and then I came in with Blueprint Sketch, which is a dark but quite bright and vibrant blue, to sort of cover the inner portion of the panel. I'm using Distress inks and not Distress oxides because they are a little bit more transparent, so I'm not going to cover up all the texture that I created with those shimmer powders. And then the finishing touch to turn this into a galaxy background is stars. I'm using my Gansai Tambi Starry palette to add some metallic shimmer to the stars, and then I'm going to also come in with a little bit of white acrylic paint. And by the way, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I always love reading your feedback, it's very important and very useful to me. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe for more card making and paper crafting inspiration. I love sharing new tips and techniques with all of you guys. In the meantime, our quick and easy galaxy background is ready and I am in love with it. I love all the texture and the shimmer that the shimmer powders created. Next, I'm going to work on my images. I'm going to stamp them with scrapbook.com premium dye black ink. I actually wanted to go for the premium hybrid black ink, but I picked up the wrong one and I'm realizing just now. In any case, if you want to follow along with the coloring, just pick your favorite alcohol-proof black ink, because the coloring today will be done using Illustrator markers by Spectrum Noir. The paper that I'm using is Nina Solar White 110 pounds cardstock, and I'm stamping the images in my Mini Misty. I decided that I wanted to stamp one of the aliens inside the spaceship, so I'm quickly cutting out a mask out of some Heavy Doodle memo tape. This is a low-tack tape, which is perfect when you want to do some masking and also to hold your dies in place when you die cut your images. It's low-tack enough that the paper won't tear, but it's tacky enough that the dies will not shift either. I positioned the mask around the capsule of the spaceship, I'm not entirely sure what that part is called, and then I can go ahead and stamp the little alien inside. And because I have my mask there, everything that is under the mask is protected, and I will have this image where the alien actually looks like he's sitting inside the capsule. I can save my mask by sticking it to the stamp packaging, and then I can go ahead and color my images. I wanted to go for a very bright color palette to make this card super fun and cheerful, so I'm using very vibrant colors today. For this little alien, because he's drawn as if he's all furry, I'm going to use these flicking motions to create the texture of fur and hair, and I'm starting from my lightest marker and then I'm going to go up in darkness. The darker markers I use, the more I focus my flicks only towards the center and I add them more sparingly in the outer parts of the image, as this creates some shading as well, and then I blended everything out with my lightest marker. I used some lilacs and some purples to color in his antennas and the hands, and then I moved on and I started coloring the glass part here. Today I'm using a little bit of a different technique in the sense that I am leaving just a very thin space between the stamped lines and the edges of my shadows. I think you can see it here in the images, and I really love this effect. I don't use it a lot in my coloring, but I want to start using it more often because I think it creates even more interest and even enhanced sense of dimension in the images. I'm not going to share the entire coloring, but I will share the coloring in a way that you will see every color combination that I used, and I'm also going to play a little bit of music while I finish coloring the images. If you do want to skip ahead, I will write the minute at which I'm going to put together my light up card, so you can skip there if you prefer. And before doing that, I just wanted to let you know, as I mentioned, that this video is part of a hop. The hop is sponsored by Pear Blossom Press and it's open internationally, and the winner will win a 5-pack of EZ-Lights, so make sure to check the description box down below for more details about the giveaway and for a link to a Rafflecopter that you can fill in if you want to enter the giveaway. I'm quickly popping back in to let you know that at this point I realized that my alien and the planet were stamped a little bit too close to each other, and I wasn't sure that I would have enough space for my die cutting, so I stamped the planet on a separate piece of Nina Solar White 110 pounds cardstock and I colored it there. Once my coloring was done, I die cut everything with the coordinating dies, and then I sort of started arranging the images on my scene. I want the light up part of my card to be behind the spaceship, so I am going to sort of map out the area where I want the spaceship to be. To do that, I'm using the coordinating dies which I secured to the panel with some Heavy Doodle memo tape, and then I'm using a craft knife to basically cut a slit there where the lights will be. I had already also die cut some black cardstock to an A2 size using the larger die in the Imperial stitched rectangle die set, so that's 4¼ by 5½ inches, and I'm going to use that as a base to glue down my EZ-Lights. I'm checking that my slit is not too large for the size of my spaceship, and then I'm going to use this die here to die cut holes where those little lights are. So you can see these stamp and die sets are really perfect to create light up cards and make the whole process even easier. I was trying to show you there the holes in the die cut, and then I also decided to back everything with some acetate. I'm using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive in this case because I have to go around those little holes and it would have been a little bit too fidgety, I guess, to go with tape. And then I also used my alcohol markers to tint the acetate in a yellow tone. At this point, it's time to assemble our lights. The first thing I did is to slide the battery inside this little circuit, and you can see that now you can press the button and turn your lights on. I tried to figure out where I wanted the circuit to be on my background, and I mapped out that position with a white Jelly Roll pen that I use also to mark the position of the slit in my card front. I used some very strong double-sided adhesive to adhere the circuit to the card, and then I'm going to position the lights so that they are basically inside the slit at the end of the day. Because I want the lights to line up nicely with the holes that I have in my spaceship, I am temporarily securing them with some Heavy Doodle memo tape on my card base, and then I can put the background on top and the spaceship as well, so that I can test that everything is positioned as I want. Because that Heavy Doodle memo tape is low tack, I can go back and move everything around until I get the perfect alignment. And because I have 3 lights and 5 holes, I figured that if I added some foil at the back of the slit, the foil will reflect the light and will make the result look more shiny, so it will sort of amplify the effect of those LED lights. I then taped the lights back in place, making sure to have them aligned nicely with my spaceship, and here you can see a side-by-side comparison. On the left you have the lights without the foil, and on the right the lights with the foil. So here's a little tip for you. At this point, all I needed to do was to assemble my card. I covered the back of my galaxy background with 2 layers of foam tape, and this is because that little circuit with the battery is a little bit thick, so we need to account for that. I did not cover up the area where I have the battery, nor of course the one where I have the lights, and then I adhered everything to my background. You saw it was super easy and super quick to assemble, and I am really looking forward to creating more light up cards with these EZ-Lights because they make the process super seamless. At this point, all I had to do was to assemble my scene. I adhered the smaller planet where I have the button in my EZ-Light circuit, and I will add a sentiment that says push me so that the recipient knows that this is an interactive card. The sentiment Push Me comes from the Interactively Yours stamp set by Heavy Doodle, and the other greeting on my card is part of the You're Weird stamp set. I stamped them both with white pigment ink by LDRS Creative, and I am emphasizing just the lower part of this main sentiment, so the part that reads I love it, with a wet gel pen. So I have a little bit of variation in the intensity of my sentiments too. I added a little bit of shimmer to the capsule on the spaceship, to the smaller planet, as well as to the lights at the bottom of the spaceship, and I'm using a scrapbook.com glitter brush pen, and that finished off my card for today. And here is the final result. I really love the way this card turned out. I love that galaxy background, and this light up part of the card is so fun. I honestly can't stop playing with it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a comment and a thumbs up, and also don't forget to check the description box down below for all the details about the video hop and the giveaway. If you haven't already, you can subscribe for more card making and paper crafting inspiration. Thank you all so much for stopping by, stay safe and healthy, and have a great day!